What's up friends, Durosai here. Hope you guys are staying creative. It's been a while since I've done a video about some gear, so I thought I'd revisit my good old friend, the Korg Electribe ER1. You know, this machine has a special place in my heart, and if you are familiar with this channel, I'm sure you've either heard me talk about it or seen me use it. I got a couple of requests to do an overview video talking about just its functionality, going over how the machine works. So I'll be doing that in a couple parts. This one's part one. I'll be talking about, you know, the 4 drum parts, the synth parts, a couple other basic functions. And I would also suggest you read the user manual. It's got like everything in there. It's pretty dense, a lot of functionality to go over. Still a lot of stuff that I don't know what it does. You know, I have to go through it, but you know, slowly but surely, I will make some videos going over every function of this device. So before I get into it, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, check out my Instagram, some of my music, yada yada yada. Alright, let's get into the video. Alright, let's start with the general overview of the ER1. So over here we have our oscillator section, we have an amplifier section, a delay that affects the master bus. It does not affect each individual channel, so it's, you know, the entire signal. We got our master volume here, and this section right here is pretty much your menu. You know, it's an old device, so this is the best kind of menu we're going to get. So to navigate this, you know, you click these buttons to access which column you want. So for example, if you want pattern, then you know, you could select pattern or tempo using the arrows. So same thing with song. Now you can access song, tempo, position, pattern. Now you have these global parameters, so you can have the metronome, which I have set off, input gain for these two audio inputs, 1 and 2. So I think, yeah, this goes up to like 100. Yep, so I just have it set to half. And then we got clock, and then protect. I honestly don't know what protect is. And then again, now you go to MIDI, and if you want to access what MIDI channel this device, responds to, you can select it here. So I have it on MIDI channel 2, and then you got note, number, dump, which is pretty much like clearing the patterns, and then MIDI filter. Again, not sure what that does. There's a lot of features on here that I'm not completely sure what they do because I never use them. Alright, so going on to here, the basis of the ER1 is essentially these 4 synthesizer parts, the 2 audio inputs, and 4 drum parts. So you have an open and closed hi-hat, a clap, and a crash. So the drum parts, they are sampled. They are not triggered, synthesized with the machine. They're just samples that are being triggered, and they can only be affected by the amp section. The oscillator section has no effect on the drums. So where this machine excels is really in this synthesizer section, because the drums are pretty standard stuff. I can go through them. Got this closed hi-hat, open. This is pretty much a 909, like exactly. Clap. I do like the clap, it's kind of old school. And then crash. Not a big fan of the crash. I like it when it's kind of like this, so I can kind of use it as a closed hi-hat, but I don't really like it open. Okay, now I'll go over the synthesizer section. So essentially, you know, you have 2 waveforms, sine wave and triangle wave, and you have these mod types, which is essentially your different waveforms for your LFO. So you have a like a sawtooth, square, triangle, sample and hold, a noise oscillator, and this exponential ramp down. So, you know, with this mod depth, you can modulate the signal either positively or negatively, and you can control the rate with this mod speed. And of course, the pitch is the pitch. So now I will go over how to make different types of sounds using this mod matrix. First, let's make a kick drum. I have a sine wave here. Let's change that to a triangle. Then I got my 4 on the floor pattern going. This will get annoying pretty fast if I don't change it. So, you know, if you have your mod depth at 12 o'clock, that means there's no modulation. So let's change that. So what I'm doing here is I am ramping the signal from a high pitch to a low pitch. And I want this to be pretty fast. We can bring down the pitch here to get the kick drum sound, and then turn up the low boost to get some of that fatness. And you can almost get an 808 sound if you bring up the decay. I actually like it on a sine wave. Sounds a lot cleaner. Just kind of have to find that sweet spot with the low boost, so it's not too overbearing and it's not, you know, or too underbearing, if that's a word. Alright, so we got our kick here. We can extend that, but we'll keep it pretty snappy. Now let's get some sort of bleep bloop sounds, because you know the ER1 seems to be pretty good at that. So for that, we want to actually use the sample and hold. So the sample and hold, what it's doing is that it's playing a random step at a random position. So we can have the mod speed very slow, and then the mod depth somewhere in between. And now what it's doing is every time I'm pressing this, it's playing a slightly different pitch. So we can just put this on pattern. Alright, there we go. We can get some nice bass sounds with this. Let's change the pattern. There we go. Okay. And might as well add some drums while we're at it. There we go. We have an accent here, which all the accent's doing is it's putting more emphasis on that specific note. So the accent here is on the upbeats, and you can control the effect of that accent with the level. Actually, I don't want the accent working too hard, so we'll just keep it pretty low. Alright, let's add a little thing. Alright. Let's add a clap. Got a little pattern going. Now, if you want to make some more like FM kind of sounds, you can use the square wave, saw wave, or triangle wave. Essentially, what you're doing is, you know, it's FM, so it's frequency modulation, and you know we can do frequency modulation, obviously. So let's take this. You know, right now we just have our sine wave. So now we're modulating that frequency. And then now we got these metallic sounds. And you can typically control the pitch of these FM sounds with the mod speed, because the rate at which it's modulating usually corresponds to some sort of tonal value, a pitch. So when you reduce the speed, you get a lower pitch sound. Now if you want to automate any of these sounds, you can actually do that using the motion sequence tool. So there's two options here. There's smooth and trigger hold. So what smooth does is that it's connecting the automation values between the notes, and trigger hold does not connect it in like a smooth way. So it's going to be more abrupt, and you're going to hear those differences between the notes. You know, you have 16 steps, and with trigger hold, it's going to be kind of jumpy, and with smooth, it's going to connect those automation points in a smooth manner. So let's try this out. Alright, so to do this, I actually want to hit record, and now we hit play, and I'm going to automate the pitch, or actually the mod speed. And that's it, you know, it automatically does it. And if I'm not mistaken, you can only automate one knob at a time. You can't do like a bunch of knobs, so I think it just overwrites it when you automate a different knob. So let's try that. Let's this time let's automate the pitch for real. I automated the mod speed last time. Yep, it does overwrite it. Which, you know, I mean, honestly, just the fact that you can automate this is pretty incredible considering how old this machine is. So, you know, I'm not really complaining. We can get some nice sort of patterns with that, especially if you're just, you know, twisting knobs, playing it around. You know, I think the best way to play the ER1 is honestly just to go ham. You know, I record a long session, like, you know, 7 or 10 minutes or whatever it might be, and I just twist a bunch of knobs, make some crazy sounds, and then I pick the best sounds from that take or multiple takes. That, personally, I find that the best way to work with this device. All right, let's keep exploring this further. Let's actually automate this again. I want to change that. Okay, we have one synthesizer part left, so I'd say we get a hat in here. You know, I pretty much have like this sort of, you know, eighth note pattern going on. So I think that would work well with the hat. And what you can do is, you know, we already have the close and open hi-hats, but you can use this noise oscillator to make another hat if it decides to work. There we go. You know, you still have some of that original sine wave. That's still pretty cool. So let's see what that sounds like. I dig it. Yeah, I like that. And the way that the closed and open hi-hats work is that I believe yeah, if the open hi-hat's playing, then the closed hi-hat won't play. So as you can see right here, I have a open hi-hat here. I also have a closed hi-hat playing there, but when the open hi-hat plays, that will not trigger the closed hi-hat. Pretty similar to, you know, 808. Now I'll just record some automation on these hats. So again, you just press record, play. So you might be wondering, what about those audio inputs? And I actually covered this in another video where I hook up my TR8 into the audio inputs of the Electribe, and let's just say the results are insane. Make some crazy techno belters. This low boost function is nuts when you put it on the TR8 drums, especially that kick drum. And also, you know, just the input drive is, it makes the sound super crunchy. So if you want to, you know more about that, go check that video out. I don't want to, you know, double cover it. So yeah, moving on. All right, lastly, to end this video, I'll cover just some of the basic performance tools, such as muting and soloing. So obviously, you know, you have pause and play and record. I already showed you the motion sequencer. Now, if you want to, you know, play this in a performative way, you can select this and then just mute any of these channels. So, you know, you're starting a track, bring in the kick, bring in that, you know, hi-hat. And likewise, you know, you could solo any of these tracks as well. So just, you know, click solo, and now you're going to solo that track. Pretty simple, straightforward. And, you know, you can have multiple tracks as well. And that concludes part 1 of this Electribe ER1 overview. Stay tuned for the other parts. I don't know when they'll be out, but I'll try to upload them in a timely manner. And if they're already uploaded, see the links in the description to the other parts of this function overview device showcase thing. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day, stay creative, and peace out.